Welcome back to the KIX 96.5 morning show. 30 minutes past the 9 o'clock hour. We love featuring indie artists on the show. And this morning, we're heading to Liberty Hill, Texas to chat with singer-songwriter Sarah Pierce. Sarah's been singing since she was 12. She's released 9 albums, toured around the world, has a new CD slated for release next year. Her current single, Cowgirl's Ride, is out now. We're excited to have Sarah on the show. First, Sarah, thanks so much for coming on.
Oh, no, thank you. I'm honored, and thank you so much for playing the song.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm looking at you last night. I'm like, Liberty Hill, Texas. You're right outside of Austin. I was in Austin, Texas this weekend.
Oh, so?
Yeah.
Well, I wish I'd known.
I know. So I was like, man, I wish I would have looked that up before. I could have went to the studio. But how long have you been in Austin?
We've been, believe it or not, gosh, I've never lived anywhere this long. We've been here 29 years.
Wow. Since what, like 95, I think I saw?
Yeah, we flew in, I think we started April of 94.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know if we've ever lived anywhere this long, and now that we're out on the ranch, you know, once you start the ranch thing, you ain't going anywhere.
No. Well, I mean, you've seen a lot of changes in Austin. How much has it changed in that time?
It's incredible. It's incredible. And I'm one of those people who moved here and made it less Austin-like. So I can't say anything, but no, it's a city. Yeah. Now, I got to say, it is one of the cleanest cities. Environmentally, it's wonderful. The arts are promoted significantly.
Yeah.
So there are fabulous things about Austin.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a city. There's a skyline.
Oh yeah, it's way bigger than I thought too when I went there.
Yeah.
And music on every corner, which is sweet. Well, Barbed Wire, your last album was like 8 years ago. You were performing until COVID. That probably stopped you, but the itch is back. What got you back into it?
It was time. I am slow. I admit it. It takes me, I don't know, 3 or 4 years to do a record. And once I hit that 4-year part, the fans start writing because they don't know I actually, have a day job. And so they're like, what are you doing? And then I'm not that person who can just sit there and write a song. I never have been. So, with Barbed Wire, at least I found that piece of barbed wire and put it on the table and wrote the songs. This record we're going to release next year, I wrote 14 songs, and then as we went in to record them, we mixed all of them. And I had to write 14 more.
Jeez.
So it's just, it's one of those processes. I'm slow. Some people can do a record every year. I can't.
Why did you nix the 14 songs? They didn't feel right?
They didn't. I wrote them, but they just weren't from the right place.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things where you write it and you always think that your new baby is great. And then listening back before the guys came in to record, I'm like, this is not me. I don't know, but it ain't me. And a couple of them I sent to co-writes just to see if they could massage them a little bit. I write with Willie Braun a little bit and just, do something, but they just didn't work. And it's funny because I saved probably 4 of them for this record, and they're not on it.
Wow.
So,
they weren't meant to be.
They weren't meant to be, yeah.
Well, you mentioned...
got to follow your heart.
Yeah, you do. Else, you're going to hate them forever if that happens. You mentioned your day job. What do you do, Sarah? Because you got a medical degree. Are you a nurse? You doctor? What?
No, I'm a physician assistant.
Okay.
And in family practice. And I'm lucky enough, I've been with the same guys for 29 years. And they're wonderfully supportive of my music. So I go tour, I come back. It's a great deal. And, family practice is family. So, I love my patients. They're family. We see great-grandchild or great-grandpa. And it's a great practice.
Yeah. Well, obviously successful, been going on that long. Go check her out, Sarah Pierce. She's at sarahpierce.com. She's on Facebook. Go to YouTube. She's got all kinds of music on there. And Cowgirl's Ride is her current single. Your husband, Merrill, I'm looking at you, and then I look him up, and I'm like, holy cow. This guy was in the Sunshine Company, Loggins and Messina, part of the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band before they were the Nitty Gritty. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And the one thing that struck me, he opened for the Doors.
Oh, yeah. Merle's been around for a long time.
He's got some stories, Sarah.
Oh, boy. Yeah, we're trying to get him to write a book about his stories, because his stories are incredible. And, he just won't do it. But, he's seen it all. It's amazing. And I think, it was that thing when I first met him, there was always somebody, we were in Phoenix then, and there was always somebody flying through, not driving through. And, you get excited, like, oh, my God, I can meet John McEwen, that kind of thing. And I do love John, and he's part of our family. But then you kind of get to that point where you're like, there's some people you wish you hadn't met, and you kept that picture in your head because you've worshipped them since you were a child. But Merle knows everybody. He traveled with Dolly. I mean, he's done it all. And he is the nicest guy you'll ever meet.
Yeah, and that's what I saw a lot of people say was great guy, which, is nice. Well, how long, when you guys moved to Austin, you started the Cribworks Digital Audio. He built the studio, so he's been doing it. Yes. Was he doing it before then, or did he retire from being a drummer and start being a producer?
Well, he retired, and then he met me, and then we went on the road and started this thing again, and then he started doing other projects. And especially when he got to Austin, one of his first projects was Reckless Kelly. And he's just great with those, the young up-and-coming guy bands. They love him. He's a kid. And he loves his artists. And luckily at this point in his life, he can actually pick and choose who he works with. And he's very special. He's a great producer because he loves his artists and he really cares. And that is not the norm. Yeah. I remember one of the first sessions I walked into when I got to Austin. I'm not going to tell you the band, but they were wonderful. And I won't tell you the studio. And we walked in because they had wanted to meet Merle. And they were recording, and they were a vocal band. And the engineer pushed the button and said, well, you're not the Beach Boys, so let's just take that one. I'm like, oh, my God. Okay, so I don't want that engineer, okay?
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, goodness.
Well, it seems like since COVID, has he been mixing more stuff now?
Yes. Yeah, during COVID, because it just got, in the studio, you're close.
Yeah.
He did a lot of mixing, and actually it pushed him to start using people that he really likes to be there. He likes the bass player to come in, they talk and all that stuff. But he's gotten now to where, he's doing stuff online. I have players from all over the plate on this record. And so it's gotten him another step where he's actually using, Dave Perlman and people who are just wonderful that live in L.A. and they can't come out here. So it's taken a level with his recordings. And he's having his old friends on things, which is great.
Yeah, because I saw a video where you had it wasn't a Kickstarter then, but it was something like a GoFundMe for barbed wire. Merle's in your band, obviously. Are the other two guys still with you, or how's it been going with the band?
One of them is the guitar player, Mike Dorian, who is fabulous. Fortunately for him, unfortunately for me, during COVID, we didn't have any gigs, so he moved back with his mom in Michigan. And he loves it, damn it. And so we're recording him long distance, and then when we've got some of the bigger gigs, he flies out.
Nice. Yeah, you can go check out their studio, cribworksdigitalaudio.com. I saw somewhere on this site where it said, stop by and handshakes and hugs are free or something. So that tells you
back. That is back.
How nice and welcoming he is. Well, you mentioned writing songs. Do you do most of it yourself, or you do a lot of co-writing?
Yeah. I don't do a lot of co-writing.
Oh, you don't do a lot of co-writing?
I don't. And it's my own, I used to go up to Nashville and write with people, really nice people. And there is an art to co-writing. And the first time for me, when I sit with somebody, it's like a first date. You don't know them. You just kind of stare at each other.
Yeah.
I got to the point that I'm like, you know what? Let's email this sucker. And so it gives you a little more freedom, I think. You don't have to be embarrassed that your line is stupid. So I do most of the co-writing, though not much, via email and files. And I do that too because, for example, people like Willie doesn't have time. I mean, he's on the road, he's running. And so it's much easier for him to just shoot things back and forth. And then everybody's different. There's a few, let's see, George Ensley, I always write in person with him. He's a great writer. But you have to get used to each other. You got to do it, for me, long enough. I had one person that would fall asleep. And I would never know if he was really asleep or he was thinking. And so, I'd sit there and it was his turn. I think we were writing a duet that time. And it was his turn to write. So he's leaning back in the chair. And so, I just sat there. And then it'd been a long time. And he'd sit up and go, "Where was I?" So, it's fun in the sense that we realize just how crazy we all really are. But, it's an experience, but I don't do a lot of it.
Yeah. Well, on your website, you said that a fan club exclusive, or you can get the album earlier. How do we join the fan club?
Yeah. Oh, you just go on there and enter your name. I hope it works. I'll test it now that you're saying that. And then we're going to release the 24 record for the fan club because they waited so long, probably in October. And then we'll give them a bunch of free downloads. And I always give in and give everybody a bunch of free downloads, but because you got to get it out there.
Well, yeah, and we just had an artist on here locally, and that's what she was talking about. You don't make any music off, or you don't make any money off your music anymore. And then, yeah, most of the stuff you're just giving away for free, probably because of that reason.
Well, it's just one of the, it's tough out there. I went years without my day job, and, oh, boy, you're 5 people in a van with bologna and a loaf of bread, and, it can be ugly.
Yeah.
But, it's what you do. And it's just, it's all part of what you do. And so I think when the thing started where if you've got the money, please pay for your CD, but if you don't. And that's just the way I think. If you want the music, bless you, take it.
Yeah. Well,
we're okay.
Yeah. You grew up in Illinois. You were a family of a cattleman. You've been around horses your whole life. Luxie, you have a cool thing on your Facebook page. You got a painting by Kent May. This thing's awesome. Tell us a story about this, Sarah.
I think it's great. I don't know. I came home a month ago and walked in, and there's this painting of Luxie on my computer. And it's gorgeous. The original photo, that's when we first got Lux. And she was running around. We'd just gotten her out of the trailer. She'd come from Michigan. And she's a beautiful little mare. And it was just a really pretty day. And so our friend Robert Anderson, who's a great photographer, took a picture of her. And I hadn't thought anything of it. Well, somehow Kent got that picture and painted this thing. And, yeah, it's beautiful. He's a talent. Wow, he's good.
Yeah, she's a beautiful horse. And
she is.
Captured her great.
Just a little princess.
Well, I saw something that you and Merle, you were giving each other prints like a year ago or something for your birthday presents
or
Cox gifts.
Stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I love him.
Yeah, so you must have a lot of art around the house.
Oh, gosh, yeah. 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 We're not that creative. We just, it's kind of, because we love other people's stuff. And Merle's quite, he's a great photographer. He does all of the album covers and the line drawings and all that. But, because Merle does everything. But I think Tim Cox is a real talent. And some of the stuff is just gorgeous.
Yeah. Well, I love your songs.
He's got great quarter horses.
Yeah. I love your music because it is very like Western or country oriented. Even your songs, Cowgirls Ride, Barbed Wire, The Last Real Cowboy, Saddle Up, Cowgirl's Daughter. Tumbleweed Dreams. It's all about like the West or being a cowboy. Is that the focus, or does it just happen that way? Well,
I think, that's my life, and so that's what I know, so that's what I write about. I feel bad for new players when they come in because there's like, 6 songs that have cowboy in it. Like, I don't know which song is which. So, but you write about what you know, and I can't really write about anything unless I know. So yeah, that's what it is.
That's what it is. Go and check her out. Sarah Pierce at sarahpierce.com. She's on Facebook. Go to YouTube. Check out all of her other stuff. And here is Cowgirls Ride. Sarah, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you so much.
Here it is. Sarah Pierce. It's KIX 96.5.